So guys, welcome back. Before you continue watching, make sure you hit the like button and also the subscribe button. So in the last part we left off, we wanted to add to cart. So let's go ahead and do that. So the way we can achieve that is simply come over to this place that we have this bag icon. And I think I wrapped it with add to cart. Let me kind of locate that. I think an item list that should be at the top here. We created a method called onCart and we are using the item ID to actually add to cart, and coming at the top here you could see that we are dispatching to a method called add to cart with the same ID. So right now let's go ahead and complete the functions for this add to cart. So it's just going to be a simple function. First we have to get that ID. So I think we need to get the product. So I'm going to use the structuring and also the cart's products. So guys, it's kind of some days I left this, so I'm trying to put myself together to properly do it. And we need to get that from get state products. I think products, yeah. So this is a function, and then beneath that we need to get the cart products. So we have to map through the cart products. So this is a plural, and we have to filter to get the actual one that we want to add to cart. So we have to filter with that product, and you can just give it a callback and give it a p._id is equals to the underscore ID we are sending. So why I'm actually doing this, we need to check whether the item already exists in the cart. So that's why we are checking whether that item do exist. So we have to check is in cart. So is in cart is going to be whether the cart product.length is greater than 0. So in case it is greater than 0, it's going to return a true. And also we have to construct the data that we are going to be sending. So we are going to be using JSON.stringify, and we need to pass our ID, and as well we have to grab our token from our get state. Okay, we are not using the get state, we are using the async. So we need to use async storage.get item, and then we can get the user token. So that's how we can get everything that we need. I think one more thing I forgot to check is the product, but I don't think whether we need the products, but let's just go ahead in case we need. I'm going to bring it down. So what I'm going to do is check if the item is in cart, but I have to check whether it is not in the cart because I don't want to perform multiple else operations. So I just want to go directly. Then I'm going to make a request with an axios of method of puts. Then I'm going to set the URL. So guys, don't forget to hit the like button. I'm going to set the URL to the API URL /API/products. So let me just scroll this a little bit up and increase the font size a little bit. So this is going to be, I think 22 is better. Yeah. Let me just increase it a little bit to 24. Yeah, I think this is more better. So beneath that, we have to set the headers. So the headers is going to have a content type. So I think I just have to grab this quickly. So it's just similar to everything that we are doing here. So I just have to come down and paste it. Then we need to pass the data, and we have to get a callback. Then for the callbacks, I have to grab everything here. So I'm just going to grab everything here and paste it here, format that properly, and I'm dispatching add to cart, and also I'm going to dispatch a data that we are going to be returning from our API. And for this we actually don't have a way to catch it, but let's just set add to cart field. So that's how we can construct for adding to cart. So guys, my throat is kind of disturbing me. So let's go ahead and handle the API part of this. I'm going to come at the bottom here, route, go over to the products, and we are going to create put down a route for puts. So route.puts, the request and the response. Then we are going to, so the way we can do this is we need to, okay, let's go ahead and grab the data we are sending from our body. So we have something from request.body, and that is the ID, and we have products. We have to find one, find one and update. Then we have to pass the documents we sent. Then we have to get an object with a set, and we can set the column that we want to change to true. And at the end of this, we have to put a comma, which is going to allow us to access the callback and the current document that we just updated. Then we have to check if there is an error. If there is an error, we have to return a response.status of 400 with a JSON message of JSON.stringify. Let's say we can even send back the error if we don't want to send any private message, or we can just return. Lastly, we just have to return with a status of 200 that everything got updated. So with a JSON message of the doc. So that's why we use the data to dispatch to add to cart. So that's why we use that data here. So let's go ahead and handle that so that we can be able to see the items in our cart. And now we have not actually touched the design, and let's go ahead and do that as well. So inside our products reducer, so I didn't even remember that we've actually done add to cart. So let's kind of go through it a little bit, and that is we removed the item that we added to cart, also removed it from the products. I can't put my head together right now, but I think that this filter, this for the updated cards and also for the updated products. So the updated card is coming from already products in the carts. This one is also coming from products already in the product array. Then we remove that item. So what we did was to spread create a new array, put the item that we are sending back from this document, and then we put it back in the product cart, and also put back the item in place of the one that we just filtered out. So that's exactly what we did here. So right now, let's go ahead and fix for the product cart design. So that is over here. So there is nothing here except for the little boilerplate that we had initially. And let's go ahead and work on that design. So we can just come over here and remove this null and wrap everything in a box with a flex of 1 and a background color of white. And inside that, we are going to have a box with a height of 82% of the screen height, and also give it a padding horizontal of large. Then inside that, we are going to bring the product header, and we can set the back action to true. Then beneath that, we need to first of all grab all the items in the product cart. So I'm just going to define a variable called all cart products, which is going to be coming from the cart products. I think I've not actually brought that in, so let me kind of go at the top here. We can just bring that in from with the use selector. We can grab our state and set that to any. So guys, I got some couple of requests not to be making my videos with TypeScript. So totally, my next video is going to be totally JavaScript in case I'm doing any React Native videos, because I also want to go over to Kotlin and Flutter and maybe teach full stack application with those technologies. So we can just get stay.products. So at inside this object, we can get the carts, products, and also the product. So guys, one thing I will also recommend is kind of learn how to work with TypeScript. Like, it helps you minimize unnecessary codes and also help you minimize errors, and also help you to specify the type of data you are using in your components or in your files or in your application, which is actually a very cool stuff as well. So we get from the card products, we have to filter, and we here for this one we have to filter cards is equals true. So if you can recall, we are actually setting everything here to true. So the ones that are in the cards, we are setting them to true. And when we insert an item, we did set everything to false. So the ones that are in the cards will be set to true. Then we have to filter with that true value and then return only the ones that are in the cards, because it's going to be a list of products in the cards. Also, we can just go ahead and complete the prices before we go ahead to the design. So it's going to be all card products.map. So we have to calculate all the prices, but first we have to get the prices as an integer. So that's why I use that. You can actually use number, but using parse integer is also good. Then we have to get the total price. So we are going to be doing this with prices.reduce. So if you're familiar with how the reduce function works, this is exactly it. So it's going to take the previous value, which is a number, and also the current value, which is a number. So if you watched my expense tracker application, you kind of see how we did that. So these prices, and inside here, we just have to return the previous plus the current one. So that's it, and we can just put 0 here to this. More like I can't remember right now, but let's say in a decimal figure, like you want 1 point something, or when you use 0 here, you're actually returning the price, but when you use something like 2, you are saying like 2.00, 1.00. So let's go back to this box, and beneath that header box, we just have to use that all card products.length is 0. We have to return something else, we return null. So for the null, we are still going to handle that, but for inside this one, we can just bring down a box. So inside this box, we are going to style it with a margin top of medium, and also a flex direction of row, and also a justify content of space between. Then we have to align the items to the center, and inside there we are going to give it a text with a variant of title, a color of primary, and also a font size of 23. So you can actually use the custom font function I defined, so that it can scale the font according to the screen size. Then you're going to have another text with a variant of title and a color of primary, and also a font size of 23 with a total. So here I need to grab a sign. So I'm grabbing an error sign, and I can just put down the total price. So that's how we can put down the total price. Then beneath this box, we're gonna have another box, and let's give it a margin top of medium with a padding of medium. So that's why I like style. You know, the recommendations and everything seems to be fast. Then we are going to define the flat list. So this flat list is going to help us have this scroll ability. So for this flat list, is going to have a content container style of, we have to justify the contents to center, and also give it a flex direction of column. And then beneath that, we have to remove the vertical indicator. We have to set that to false, and we have to pass a data. So the data is going to be all cart products, and we have to specify the number of columns to be 1, because you don't want it to be like a grid. And let's go ahead and bring down the render item. So this render item is the main thing for this, which is going to have a callback, and it's going to return, we're going to return a JSS with a fragment. So I can just, let me just fragment, because we are going to be making use of the ID to make it a unique property. So guys, sorry, my throat is kind of disturbing me. So in this one, we are going to just pass the key, and let's go back to these parentheses, and inside there we have to put an object and grab the item. From the item we can grab the title, the image URL, the price, and also the ID. So that's how we can do it. And I don't want to experience any type error, I can just set this to any. And inside this fragment, we just have to create a component called cart item. So I think that component is already created, and it's going to accept some couple of parameters: title, image URL, the price, and also the ID. So we have to make sure that each key extractor have its own unique identifier. So I'm just going to use title over there, and inside here I can just destructure the title. So that's how we can set that. And this is telling us that we need to complete everything here. So we have, we have title. So let me just go ahead and grab all these unique properties, and I'm going to paste that here. And inside here we can change this to title. So the ID is a string, the image URL, of course, is also a string. So that's how we can set that up. And inside this return, we are going to have a touchable without feedback, which is going to take in that on press. So for this on press is like when we click on an item, so we have to make sure that we pass the ID that it is going to take to navigate to that particular item for the product details. Then inside this touchable without feedback, first we have to bring down a box. So inside this box, let me scroll this a little bit up. We have to align the items to the center, and also give it a height of 116. I think it will be better so that we don't have too much height. And inside here we're gonna give it a margin bottom of medium, and also a border radius to make it look fancy of small. And we can give it a border width. So this border width is going to have style-sheet.hairline width, and also it's going to have a flex direction of row, and we can give it a padding of small. Then inside that box, we are gonna have another box with a height of let's use the moderate scale of 84, and we can give it a width of moderate scale of 84. So this is for the image. Then we can give it a overflow of hidden, justify the content to the center, align the items to the center, and give it a padding medium. So let's scroll a little bit down, and inside this is for the image. I'm going to bring down the image, and the image is going to have a source of the image URL. So it's going to be a URI, and we can put a backtick with an image URL, and it's going to have a style of absolute field, style sheet.absolute field objects. Then we're going to have a box. So this box is for the product details. It's going to have a width of moderate scale of 84. I think it's for the rating because we have a rating. I think I don't need a rating, but what we can do is, okay, let's use this box for the title. It's still going to look nice. So we can give it a margin left of medium, sorry. And we're going to have a text with a variant of title and a font size of 15. And we can just take the primary color, and inside that text we can just use the product title. So we've actually done a lot of things. Why don't we just it says source is missing, so we don't need source at this type. So I don't need source. So let me just go ahead and save and see what we've been doing. And it should be okay. We don't yet have an item in our products. Let's kind of check the error. It says undefined, it's not an object, cart products. And let's check the line. So that is on line 34. Cart products coming from here. So let's kind of check in our reducer, and think, okay, over here we're using cart products, not products, and let's save that and get back. So we should get, I think, an empty array rather than getting that error. So when this logs us in and check back, we should get an empty array. So we don't actually have any products in our cart. Let me kind of try to add this first one to see whether it's going to show. So I added that and we got some response, but everything seemed to be not working properly, and that's because we are getting, let me kind of check. Says ID, but we do not have any error because the products, maybe when we dispatched, or let's kind of check, you know, the request was successful, giving us a product, and all these things are the problem because we changed the text to be C, not the way it was before. So let's go ahead and save and try that again. So I think this time around it should work properly. So guys, check on the description. You're gonna see a link to my PayPal. Just support me or buy me a coffee. I would really appreciate that. And also hit the like button, and let's go ahead and try that. We still got an error. Still got an error. And where is it coming from? Undefined is not an object. Product.get get state. So this is probably coming from our actions, cart products. Oh, I suspected so. Oh, I even misspelled this. So I did a lot of mistakes here, guys. So let's try that again. And we didn't get an error. And let's go back. We are supposed to be getting a value. Let's kind of console.log all these items. So let me kind of save this. And okay, we already got the items. As you can see here, we have the product that we just added to the cart that got returned from our response. So that is to say that it's actually working properly. So let's go ahead and make sure that we can display that. If the product length is greater than 1, get this, and probably we should get some response. We should get some response because the items is greater than 0. So guys, I had to refresh, and actually we are getting something here. So but it's down at the bottom part, and let's go ahead to finish our design, then we can fix that. So we are at this place that we added the title. We are going to have a text with a variant of small title and also a margin top. I think it's because of the height I gave this. Maybe I didn't properly place this, but we are going to still fix that. We have primary, and for the price we are going to be using that same Naira sign. So I think I have a Naira sign here, and coming back up. Okay, pasted that, and we can just remove everything inside here and put down the price. So we are done with this, and let's go ahead and check why we have that so bad. So the problem, oh my god, I just did a wrong thing here. This was supposed to be wrapping everything inside this all categories, and let's save and check. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I was just in a rush and I didn't check this out. So you can see we have that item, and when I click on it, because of this navigation at the top, here, we get to go back to the product details with the details for that item in the cart. So if we have multiple items and add it to the cart, this is how it is going to be. And right away, let's go ahead and fix, in case we don't have any item in the cart. So maybe we don't have any item in the cart when the application gets open. So we want to display something like there is no item in the cart. You can just put an item in the cart by yourself. So let's just go down, and right now let's get rid of this null value, and we are going to return a box. So inside this box we are going to have a flex of 1, and also a justify content of center, and also we are going to align the items to center. Then we are going to have a text with a variant of title and a color of, I think I have the Ninja, and also a margin bottom of medium. And inside there we are going to have carts empty, in case we don't have any product in the cart. And lastly, we can just have a borderless button, and inside that borderless button we are going to have a text like like start shopping, or maybe when you start shopping, of course you will add to cart. So let's give it a small title and also a color of primary. And For this one, we are going to take the onPress of navigation.pop. Okay, we need to pop back to the previous stack, that is the product list stack, product list screen. Then inside this one, we can just add start shopping. So that's how we can fix that. And let's kind of go ahead and maybe refresh our application to see that in effect. So I think that should solve it. And okay, yeah. So right now you could see there is nothing in our cart, and it's actually not a good recommendation to handle. Maybe you want to handle something like adding to cart, you want to handle it the way we did this. Is also good that you make sure that maybe you can create a MongoDB schema to handle the products that are in the cart, so that they kind of stick together. Maybe you can use something like a time frame to actually delete those things when the user didn't shop those items. I think you kind of understand me. Maybe after some while, the user was not able to make proper use of the item in the cart by shopping them, then automatically the system should clear the cart to make sure that the database don't get filled up unnecessarily. So whenever we have an item to, let's say, let me just go back before we move to this. I want to say, let's say right now we have an item in the cart and we want to check out. We now have to go over to doing that. So the way we can do that is, I think, under this box. So guys, let me kind of check something. I don't know whether it will be nice. Okay, under this box, we can use if all cars.products.length is greater than 0, or else no. Then for this one, let me just kind of pass null and make sure that we don't get any error. And let me just cut this and put it there, yeah. And inside this, we can put down a box. And inside this box, we're gonna have, okay, let me just use a flex of 1 and also a background color of white. So if you can recall, we are using 82%. So the remaining percentages is going to be used by this box at the bottom, and we could justify the content to the center. And also we can align the items to the center. Then inside there, we want to use the button with a label of check out. And it's going to have a variant of primary. And it's going to have an onPress of on checkout. So we already have that function at the top here, which is going to redirect us to on checkout. So before we redirect to checking out, maybe when we click on this, we actually want to clear all the items in the carts. So right now, let's go ahead and dispatch. I think I didn't bring in dispatch. So quickly at the top here, I can just bring in dispatch with the use dispatch. And then we can just dispatch products checkouts. So hopefully this function is correct. So let me kind of check. No, this is a component. So let's kind of check products checkouts. So I'm kind of confusing myself here, but let's go over to this action, maybe create a function called, okay, we have to create a method called products checkout. Then inside there is going to kind of, I think we don't, okay, for the product checkout, okay, I kind of understand what I'm doing now. So guys, forgive me because it's kind of really long. I left this maybe 2 or 3 days, but actually that's why. So this, we are going to dispatch a product checkout that is going to be coming from our reducer, from our action. So let's kind of check. So it's going to be coming from the product action, and what it's just going to do is we are going to first of all make this an assign function. So I'm just going to transform this to an assign function and add a dispatch with all dispatch props, and then inside there is going to have we are going to get the token to make sure that we are actually making a proper request at user token, and also we have to make a request. So what we want to do is we need to make a request, and we need to get the items all the items that are already in the products, because if you check in our reducer, we are actually populating the products back from the payload. So whatever we are going to be returning from our API is going to be the product, and also we have to reset the cart products to an empty array to clear everything. So that's exactly what we are doing, and I'm just going to I will do that quickly. And I'm going to set the headers. So I'm just going to grab, let me just grab everything to this place. So let me just get rid of this one and paste that and format it properly. We are not sending any data. And here we are going to dispatch checkout. And the payload is going to be the data. And for the error, if you wish to handle error, you can just say maybe clear fail. Or I think, yeah, checkout fail. So that's it. So that's exactly what we are doing in this one, and there is nothing much except that we need to come over to our API and put down for that one. Actually, we are not putting down anything because I even forgot that we are actually making a GET request to the proper get products API, so we don't have to do anything. And let's go ahead and click on this. Now it's going to take us to the product checkout screen. So let's go ahead and fix that as well, the product checkout screen, and this is it over here. Now let's go ahead and run through this product checkout. Just gonna be a box with a flex of 1, and also it's going to have a background color of primary, and it's going to have a justified content to flex that. And inside that, it's going to have a touchable without feedback of, I think I'm going to call, okay, let's just call this, okay, let's make use of the onBack. onBack is, does it really make sense? Because we are not, we can pop this from the stack, which is actually great. Okay guys, okay, let me just tell you what you can do here. It's very simple. You can actually replace this, maybe pop this from the stack, then, or you can just redirect it, you can just push it directly to the product list screen. I think it's better that way, but let's just go ahead. I think you'll kind of understand more if you use React Navigation 5. So just take your time and do it. It's a challenge for you also to improve. Then inside here, we can just put the box, a flex direction of column, and we have to align the items to the center and give it a background color of white. Then we can bring in the product header and we can just set the back to false. So this is just like the way I use this on back, but let's just allow it and check. So we get that nice looking interface, and beneath that box, beneath the touchable without feedback. So guys, my machine is kind of, oh no, okay, let's just continue. And inside here we're gonna have a box, and this box is going to have a height of 40%. So let me just quickly do that, 0.4. We justify the content to the center and also align the items to the center. And inside there we're gonna have a text. So this text is going to have a variant of let's say title, but I think I have to define kind of use an animated text, but I don't want to use an animated text here. But the way I can do this is to, okay, let me just go ahead and give it this font size of custom font of 42. And inside that we can have things. I think one more thing I need to add there. Let's just leave it that way. And beneath this box, we're gonna have another box with a flex of 1 to make use of the remaining width and height. And it's going to have a background color of white and a border top left radius of extra large, and also a border top right radius of extra large. And we can justify the content to the center, and also we can align the items to the center. Then we can bring in the check. So the check is like something like a good icon. So we can just give it a size of 90, and beneath that we are going to bring down the text for a font size of custom fonts of 15 and a variant of title, and also text, align everything to the center and give it a color of primary, and also a margin top of medium. So this is a top margin, and inside that text we can just say thank you for purchasing these products. So that's how we can fix that. And lastly, we can, we do this before the last one. This one is going to have a font size of custom font of 12, and also a text align of center, and also a margin top of medium. You can give this one a color of primary and a variant of small title. And it's going to have a text of your order will be shipped in 2 to 4 international days. Then beneath that we are going to have a button. So this button is just going to have a label of continue shopping in case the user wants to continue shopping, a variant of primary, and it's going to have an inline style of margin top of 80 and on press is going to be on continue. So we already put down the on continue function, so I can just close this down. So let me just close this down and let's add this item to the cart and go over to our cart and click on checkout. So you could see we have this nice looking screen over here. And for the on continue, now when we click on the on continue, we also want to update the items that we already in the cart, because when we started this series, we showed you that the items in the cart have this bag icon as red. So I may do it, or it's going to be a challenge for you because it's just a minor thing, but I just want to give you an idea. So what I can do here, I'm going to dispatch a function called clear cart. So I'm just going to dispatch a function here. So let me just bring in dispatch first. Use dispatch. And we can dispatch a function called clear cart. So we've now actually created this clear cart, and let me just go ahead and do it first. So let me just go ahead and save that, and over here we can just bring that function inside. So whenever the cart is done clearing, since it's using the middleware, this thing is what I want to do here is good. Okay, I wanted to use the then to bring this back, but it doesn't work on this patch, and I don't think we can do it inside here. So leaving it this way, there is nothing wrong with that, but coming into this clear cart, we have to make a request that is going to clear that cart, because let's check in our reducer. So in our reducer, we think do we have clear carts? No, we don't have clear cart, but let me kind of check the method that we are using. So when we clear the carts, okay, when we clear the carts, we have to call back the load product action. So let's go ahead and fix that immediately. We have to get the token with the await assign storage.get item of at user token and Axios the method of puts and the URL is going to be the API URL /API/products/clear, and we are going to create that immediately. So for the headers, let me just quickly type it down. It's called X Amazon token. And it's going to have the token, and then we have to return load products. So we want to reload all the products whenever the user checks out, because the user automatically checks out all the products by paying. Then we are just going to have an empty object here. So there is nothing there we need to put. We don't need to dispatch anything, because whenever we clear our carts, automatically redirects us back. Let me close this product cart. It's going to redirect us back to the product list. So let's come over to this clear cart and let me open that. So we are making a request to /clear, and I'm going to quickly just put a router dot. We are making a put request with /clear which is going to accept the request and the response and the product.update menu, and we have to select from the update. Okay. Okay, we are not specifying any document. So using this like when you are getting all the items from MongoDB, if you use product.find and put just an empty object here, it's going to grab all the products in that particular schema. So using this empty object here is going to refer to all the items in that schema, and then we can just specify the column we want to update. And lastly, we can also specify the multi to be true and also with the upsert to be true. Then it's going to give us a callback. So inside our callback, we can get an error or product. And that's it. So you can actually send back a response, but because we are not catching a response over here, we don't actually need to, we are not actually catching anything here. We don't actually need to send back anything. So when I click on this, it should bring me back to that stack. And when I check in my routes, it should make that request. So let me kind of check again. So you could see that put request over there. And coming back here, we don't have any item in the cart. Let's try again. And let's open, I think it's up. So guys, make sure you hit the like button and also the subscribe button. We are almost at the end. So this is the last part we are actually handling. It actually made a request. If you could see here, we have API/put. Maybe it was not able to perform, maybe because of the middleware, but let's kind of log in again and check that once more. Or we see this patch, we can be able to use a then over here. Let me kind of try this. Then this is supposed to work, even if we may get an error here, because if I set this to any, that type error is going to disappear. So let me kind of set that to any, and yeah, it should work. And let's kind of log in again. And insert into the cart and check our cart. And let's check out. Checking our, and let's send that. So it's going to make a request. It makes a put request and grabs the item. And when we come back here, we don't get to see those items again. So that's how we can do that. So it seems like we are not actually getting the, items, the request perfectly. I think that issue is from my machine, because my machine is kind of running some heavy applications right now, so it's not actually corresponding properly. So that's how we can actually add to cart and clear to cart, because I'm sure that if I reopen this application, it's going to work. So you could see those requests are actually making, but the issue is from my machine. So let me kind of maybe maximize this. Let's try again. And the item shows we add to cart, which is going to put, come to the cart, we see the item, check out, and we now, okay, automatically you see it makes another, okay, it has not made a request, but let's click on this. It redirects us and I'm sure it has made that request, because if I close this app, you see that that request has actually performed. So that's how we can actually do this. Well, one thing I will also suggest is you can actually use component did mount over here, like making use of the use effect, so that whenever the user navigates to this checkout route component, it automatically clears everything in the cart. But that wouldn't make sense, of course. Or you could use maybe dispatch an action here and handle that with the reducer. Then whenever the action performs, with the use effect to monitor the changes from the maybe you create a separate array to maybe you just find a way to create something that the use effect can identify. Then you now dispatch that before you now redirect the user back to this product list screen. So when we started earlier, I showed you that the ones that are in the cart is going to have this reddish icon, and that is going to be because of this item list key over here. So I think in the item list here, you can actually, I'm just going to give you an idea. I don't want to do it. I want you to try it out. The way you can do that is very simple. Since all the items you are returning from the cart has a true Boolean value, so you can set use a color here. So maybe let's say you can use the ternary operator to actually set if the item is in the cart. You should use maybe a reddish color or any color you desire to use. By default, you should use the primary color. Then you pass that cart column over here. So I think I even passed that cart column over here. So I think that kind of gives you the idea of what you can do. So this is a Boolean value over here. So because if we check, let me kind of log that. So guys, we are actually done with this tutorial, but I'm just kind of giving you more ideas of what you can do. You see we get false here, but let me kind of set this to add that to cart, and that's it, returns false. Automatically, of course, you should return true. You should return true. Let me kind of go to a stack and come back. It's actually returning the false, but it's still not an issue. But this idea I'm giving you right now is kind of making sense, because if you can observe here, we still have this false value. So you can find a way to do it and also improve. So do not forget to hit the like button and also the subscribe button.